Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I have a fun video in store today. It is my top 9 things not to miss while working for Disney World. I know when I was getting ready to work for Disney, I wasn't sure what I wanted to make sure to do and what were my not to miss items. So here's a list to hopefully help you as you plan along your list of things you don't want to miss in Disney World. My first suggestion would be to make sure to visit lots of restaurants and to do so early. When you start working, don't be afraid to go try different restaurants because there's so many different restaurants on Disney property. It's really hard as a guest to make sure to see all these different ones, and it takes a lot of trips to get to try lots of different things. So while you're working, make sure to maximize your different restaurants that you visit for different meals, and go with a group of friends, go by yourself, do all different combinations, but try lots of different character breakfasts or buffets, or maybe just a quick service or things that you haven't tried before. Don't be afraid to get out and try them. One of my tips, if you're doing a sit-down restaurant or a buffet or a character breakfast, one of those that you need a reservation for, is to not be afraid to use the My Disney Experience app to book those, because you can cancel them up to 24 hours in advance. One of my friends, she would go on all the time and just look at what reservations were available and make some, and then if we ended up not being able to go, so long as it was 24 hours before, she could cancel it and not lose any money or anything. Sometimes I could get a reservation. For example, I got one for Ohana 24 hours before we were gonna go. So one of those, you kind of can leave a time slot open and decide when you want to go, and then just look the day before or a couple hours before even, and just see what's available in the app and just go for it. It's a really cool way to get to try different things, and some of my favorite experiences were at restaurants with friends. So for sure, don't miss that experience. My second suggestion is to not be afraid to go to the parks alone or just spend time alone in Disney, because one of my favorite things, I don't know about you, but I just enjoy being at the parks and walking around and getting to just see the atmosphere, people watch, walk in a store, and just do so on my own schedule. And as much as I love going to the parks with friends, I did that a lot. The few times that I did go by myself were also some really cool times and things that I'm glad that I did. One day, none of my friends were able to go, and I wanted to go to ride Pandora, but the line was a good probably 2 hours. You never knew how long it was going to be on the day, but 2 hours probably minimum. So I decided to go and just go by myself, and I took a book and just walked through the line. I had a snack and a book, and I just walked through the line. And so that was one of my favorite times, actually, just being able to read and be there in Disney, and just, I don't know, it was a really cool experience and something that I was glad that I did and didn't miss out on. So don't be afraid to go by yourself. Don't be afraid to just go to the parks and ride a ride or see a show. It's just a really cool way to get to kind of do what you want to do on your own time. My next suggestion is to not miss exploring different places in Orlando and around Disney World. One of my favorite areas around Disney is the town of Celebration. It's a smaller town there, but it has some really unique shops and a park that's beautiful. Also, some really great restaurants. There's a Thai restaurant there that I was able to visit with some of my friends from Thailand, so that was really cool, getting to try different international foods with them there. Another fun place that was one of our favorite breakfast stops was a place called Holler and Dash, and it's a place that I really miss even now as I'm home and not in Orlando. I really miss Holler and Dash's good breakfast food, so that's a fun place to look up if you're interested. Also, a place called Buca di Beppo, which was a big family-style Italian restaurant, and so that was really fun when we had a big group to go and getting to explore there. So Celebration has its parks are beautiful for going on a walk or a run or just walking around and enjoying the day, and it's just a fun place that I'm glad I was able to spend some time there that if I had just gone to Disney World, I would have missed out on. My next suggestion is to take gifts to coworkers, and this is an idea that actually I got from a lady who was sharing with us some of the things that she did. She's a cast member, and some of the things that she did, and she told us a story about how she threw a Monday party for one of her coworkers, and I like that idea, so we decided to throw a Monday party. So here's a sign for a Monday party at Casey's. I kept the little sign because I love it. So I'll have another video on throwing a Monday party and what that story is all about. But we took donuts that day and just wrote a note to our cast member friends and had fun plates and napkins, just said Happy Monday. And it was just a really fun way to lift the morale at the work location, and it was a really cool way to get to bond with other coworkers and things. I wish I had done taking gifts to cast member friends earlier in my time in working for Disney, because it was something I waited until about halfway or 3/4 of the way through before I really started bringing fun gifts to my coworkers, and it was a really fun way to help us bond, but by that point my time was almost over. So for sure recommend take some gifts to your coworkers toward the beginning of working for Disney, and it's a really cool way to get to bond with them in a different way and also to just be a blessing and to be blessed in return. My next suggestion is about meeting characters. I don't know if you like meeting characters, but I really enjoy it, and something that I've seen a lot of guests do is they'll just come up to a character, give them a hug, take a picture, and leave. And as fun as that is, I guess, it's also really fun to get to talk to them and get to interact with the characters in a fun way. You can think of ideas while you're in line. For example, I asked Tiana one day that I got to talk to her. I asked her about her restaurant and how it was going, and I'm a business major, so we talked about business, and so that was really cool. Or I asked Rapunzel one day if she and Pascal had been playing hide and go seek a lot, and if Pascal was really good at hiding. And so it was really cool to get to have those interactions with them and the characters to tell you about their lives. And so for sure would recommend doing that. Even with Mickey and some of his furry friends, it's a really cool way to get to interact with them, ask them about their day, and if they've been having lots of fun, ask them questions, because it's a fun way to get to have that interaction. Speaking of meeting characters, something else I recommend is to have something fun and easy for characters to sign, but also that you'll be able to see on a day-to-day basis. I know for me, I have an autograph book from previous trips as a guest, but I wanted to have something that I could collect signatures on all during my time working for Disney that I could also really enjoy once I got home. So I got a pillowcase at Walmart, which I got this one. It's polyester, so I wouldn't recommend it because the polyester bled a little bit, and so you can see some of the Sharpie lines got a little bit blurry, but it's still really fun, really colorful. You can use the different color Sharpie markers to make it a certain color palette if you'd like, or whatever you'd like to do. For sure would recommend having something easy you can throw in your bag. I had a small piece of cardboard that I just kept with that, and then they could easily sign it and move on our day. But it's a really fun way to collect these, and then I'm going to turn it into a throw pillow so I can see it. But I'm just gonna cut off the edge right here and then turn this blank space, turn the rest of this into a pillowcase for a pillow. So up to you however you'd like to do it. I got this idea on Pinterest, but it's a really cool way to have a fun souvenir for not super much, but that you get to collect all your different signatures on. Another suggestion of something not to miss while working for Disney World is pin collecting. Now, I'd never been a pin collector before. It was just never really something I was into or that I wanted to spend all my money on, but working for Disney, someone told me a tip that made me start pin collecting, and that is there's a cast member discount store that they sell all kind of discounted merchandise. Maybe it's out of season, or maybe it's damaged slightly or something like that. They'll just take this extra merchandise that's not selling in the parks and take it to the cast member discount store where you get a discount on it. So I bought some pins there. For example, here's a nice food and wine pin from 2017 that they were selling at a discount. I probably got it for maybe $2, maybe $1.50 or something like that. But so you can buy these pins really cheap, then you know you're buying genuine Disney pins to trade, and the cast members will trade them with you. So long as it has the little pin trading logo on the back, it's good to trade. So I bought a bunch of these. I probably got 6 or 7 at the time when I was there. And then I traded them for things like this fun rebellion symbol, or here's a flounder, which I think he's a pretty old pin. So you can trade all kind of different ones depending on what you want to collect. I like the princess and fun pins, so it was a cool way for me to get pins for not super expensive, but still a fun way to collect them, and now I can stick them on a bag or a board or however I want to display them. And it was kind of fun to have that interaction with cast members as well when you're trading. So would recommend pin trading, of course, if you haven't done it before, and to do it at the Disney discount store because you save a lot of money. My next suggestion is that after a shift, sometimes we would finish shifts at midnight, 1 o'clock, so really late, but don't be afraid to go out for a meal with some of your coworker friends. I know we would go often to Denny's, was one that we visited a lot, but some friends went to IHOP or to Waffle House or other places that are open super late after we get off work, and it was fun to get to socialize with coworkers in a different environment outside of working all day, and to kind of release and have a good time after a long shift. So even though you get off late and you're probably tired, don't be afraid sometimes to make that time to go out with coworkers and enjoy a fun time of getting to fellowship with them in that kind of a setting. My next suggestion is to have a question that you ask guests a lot. For example, I ask guests on a regular basis, what's your favorite Disney dessert? And so I got some really cool recommendations from some guests maybe had only been there a few times, but they still had a favorite, or sometimes guests that were Disney Vacation Club members or came every year or multiple times a year, and so they knew Disney really well, and they had some really interesting suggestions. And it's just a question that younger kids or adults or anywhere in between can give some really cool answers to the question. And then it helped me to have a fun experience getting to go try some of those desserts that maybe I hadn't had in a little while. If you're curious, my top 3 answers that I got were a lot of the Disney classics. The first one was a Mickey bar, the next one was a Dole Whip, and the last one, which was interesting, was the bread pudding from Ohana, which apparently a guest told me you can go up to the bar at the Ohana restaurant and then you don't have to have a reservation and you can order the bread pudding there. So fun facts, things I learned from guests, and that led me to try the bread pudding and some other fun Disney desserts that I wouldn't have had before. That'll come in a separate video all about my Disney desserts because I got lots of great suggestions. And my last suggestion, last but not least, is something that I've done for a long time, but now as a cast member I can really appreciate, and that is to take thank you notes to cast members. I've done it for a while. Just write them a simple note on some stationery, something like, to an amazing cast member, thanks so much for making our day extra magical. I know that it's people like you who make Disney such a special place. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day. Signed, a grateful guest, or however you want to write it and fill it out. But something that you can give to people who really just go above and beyond and make your trip or your day or whatever it is extra magical and special. I know it was really cool just when guests would take a minute to say thank you for what you're doing or something really sincere. It just really meant a lot, as sometimes you deal with a lot of guests who are frustrated or have had a long day or have had a hard time. And so to have someone really genuinely come up and thank you for what you're doing means a whole lot to the cast members. So something I'd encourage for you to pass on the magic if it's something you're interested in, but it's a really cool way to initiate that interaction with cast members. Maybe share a story with them or talk to them, and it gives you a unique interaction that maybe you might not have had before. So for sure would recommend doing that, and it's a blessing to cast members and also just brings joy to you as well. So there you have it. That's my top 9 list of things not to miss while working for Disney. I hope maybe you've gotten a few different ideas of things you haven't considered before, and I hope it makes your time working at Disney extra magical and special like mine was. So hope you have a magical rest of the day. Bye!